Hello, and welcome to this new live streaming. Today it's the 18th April, and we will work on a reaction shot. So a reaction shot in a comic is just for a little summary. A reaction shot, I took the Wikipedia page here, and there is a good definition. In motion picture film production, cinematography, and video production, a reaction shot is a shot which cuts away from the main scene in order to show the reaction of a character to it. A basic unit of film grammar, but also of comic. In Pepper and Carrot, reaction shot is probably this scene. You have the character looking at something, and then you have a close-up of how she reacts to it. That's only this. And today I'm doing this because I have some work to do on episode 25, and I can't lose an afternoon. So I will try to explain while I'm doing a reaction shot on episode 25. I just see that I made all this introduction without checking if the streaming was working. I will trigger here the comment. So everyone can hear my voice. Everyone can see the screen because I'm streaming now in 1080p and it's a new resolution. So maybe it can be a little bit more crystal clear resolution on your side. Maybe YouTube still stream at 720p on your side. Oh, good. Thank you, Warden. Because I really tweaked all the settings. Ah, that's good. I really tweaked all the settings, and I was really worrying. Should I keep what I know is working or just do tweaking? And so we can move on. So I wanted to make a panel of the next episode of Pepper and Carrot, but I don't want to spoil also all the story. And I'm obviously working already on the last pages. So it's one of the, not the last page, but it's the page 7 on the episode which has 10 pages. And I will open it in Krita. Hello guys. And I will put my camera onto my tablet also. So this week I'm changing of tablet. I'm using something else. I will just zoom out a bit. It's a very huge tablet I had in stock. It's the Intuos4 I'll probably put the webcam in full mode. It's here, it's a big tablet. Okay, of course, on the right side. Sorry for my camera skill. It's difficult to move a webcam like that, but it's a very large tablet, A3, if you see the scale with my hand, and I'm using only, I will push a bit the keyboard, but I made just with xsetwacom just a area like that to match my screen size, the screen size you can see here. So I preferred this to draw the episode of Pepper and Carrot instead the Cintiq 13 HD, because on this one I have more centimeter in width. It's larger like that, and I can have more precision in my movement. So I'm not sure if I will keep this, but it's good for testing. So I will try to put the webcam here on the screen. It has a system to attach it, but that's falling always. Yeah, I'll probably keep it like that, and I will turn back to this type of view. So you have a little preview here of what shortcut I'm doing. maybe. And so in this new episode, something happens with the house of paper. And this is a page where the house has something special happening on it, and paper reacts like that. So this is my storyboard. This is a very early page. There is not a lot of work on it. To make this storyboard, I put a layer effect on the frame here to get a little blue border, because white on white would be impossible to see the border of my frame if there wasn't this blue, but now I can remove it. So layer style, I remove the white here, because I will put a gray background. It will be more calm for my eyes. So as I said on the previous tutorial, I like this C0, C0, C0. It's easy to remember. It's made coco, coco, coco. It's like 20% gray here. And on my storyboard, I have some white. It's reduced to 20%. So I go to filter, color, color to alpha, to remove all the alpha channel. No, it's not to remove all the alpha channel, sorry, to remove all the white and replace it by alpha channel. So when I do this, I can keep on my background here just my storyboard, and I will focus on rendering this panel. So I have some gray here from the storyboard. I will just put a layer on the top and name it sketch. I'll perform a quick save like that. And now I'm at 33% in my page document. That's the good zoom. It's a zoom size for my page of paper and carrot that is consistent with the online size. So you see, if I put a page of paper and carrot here, you see the width. The online version is zoomed at 33%. So I can design it, this facial expression, the same way as it will be seen on the comic when it will be online. It's important for me, so I can control if the scale is too big or if it's too small. Because we are in digital and I need to get a sort of scale, because if I zoom like that, I don't know where I am, or like that, and I see all the page and I'm tempted to make a big face like that. So at 33%, I know that it's the reality of the comic posted. I have a question. Did you stick something on your tablet paper, perhaps, to make it smoother? Yes, on this particular tablet, this is the normal layout provided with the tablet, but I also used a polish paste. It's a paste you can use to clean object in metal, and I polished with also toothpaste a bit to have something smoother. So the original surface has a little grain, but this little grain was really aggressive for the tip of the stylus, and I smoothed it. So now it's like a smooth plastic, but not as smooth as a glass or as a glossy plastic. Coco confirmed. That's the color. So I discovered with Krita 4.0 a new feature. It's a plugin. It's a Python plugin, and you can find the Python plugin into the tool scripting here, and it's the 10 brushes Python script, and it allows you to have some slot here and put some preset, some brush preset in it, And then you can put a shortcut. You can customize it. I will show you just after. And then you can call brushes with directly a shortcut on the keyboard. And all this weird symbol is only my advertise keyboard. Because on advertise, all the number, you have to access them with pressing the shift button. And if you don't press shift button, you have all these weird characters. So this is like I'm pressing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., etc. So this is a very cool script. I put just an eraser and 2 pencils on it. If you want to change the default setting, you can go to setting, manage resource. Oops. I always do the mistake with manage resource and configure Krita. And here in the keyboard shortcut, you just type brushes or brush, and you will get here the 10 brush script with the slot 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you put a custom shortcut to it. So yes, it takes 20 minutes to set up, but it's really a time saver later. And if you want to activate this plugin, I'm not sure it's activated by default, it's here, Python plugin manager, and you check here 10 brush. So I will press, you probably not seen on my keyboard, but when I press 1, I have my eraser, so it's erase. 2, it's a little stroke like that, a little brush stroke. And 3, it's a larger one. Really larger, yep. So, the brush I'm using are default, are from the default brush preset, except this one, which is just a copy of this one, but larger. Nothing more about it. And I'm using it to start, because even if I have the storyboard, I have the expression, but it's really simplified. Hi, Tashizuna. So what I'm doing over it is I'm redrawing, but I'm trying also to keep the proportion. And find also the axis, because there is some axis to all this bean. So it's not like last week where I was drawing something very quickly to just capture something in my brain. Here I already have the storyboard and I just try to solidify all the volume. So I put just a mark like this for the nose. It's for the volume. I'm checking with the mirror M key on the keyboard. For the eyes, you see I have to put 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 along my guideline here. I'm still using a very large brush just to not fall into the detail yet. And Pepper can have really, really large eye. So I have a tool on my desk. It's this. You can see it's a little mirror. I always have it when I draw non-digital, is to mirror what I'm drawing, and I'm checking like that. But it's also to check my facial expression, so I can find funny facial expression and make expression. So right now I will just check a bit. Yeah, so I know now that I have to make low, high on the socket, like that. And it's important to check your expression with a mirror, because it's your best reference all the time with all the character. So I have a little problem with the eye. They have the right expression, but when I mirror, they are not looking right into the direction. And what is happening here, the characters are a little like that, so it's really up. So I have to keep the eye low for my expression, but at the same time I want them to look at the sky. And it's always a little problem like that, doing a reaction shot. Yes, it's very okay, yes. I'm using a different tablet, the Intuos4 A3. It's the extra large version. Because yes, I can map to very large part of the tablet, so it's easier to do detail. And to keep the 33% zoom on my screen. So right now I'm just trying to get something a bit more advanced than this, but I keep broad line and everything. There is also a lot of wind on this scene, and I just try to adjust the skull. So here I have a bone, here I have a bone. Onto facial expression, the neck and the shoulder are also very important. When you put shoulder very low, like that, it's not the same feeling than when you put the shoulder like that. Very. There is like a automatic defense. I got a notification that we had a disconnection. Maybe it's related to the new resolution. I will just type something on the chat. Good. Thank you for confirming that is it back now. If we experience too much deconnection, I will just switch back to the old resolution. Sorry again, we are testing. On the previous streaming we had no cut, so it was easier. No, it's not internet on your side, it's internet on my side, I think. So that's something I'm doing also, is I paint the body often of the paper in the shot naked, but it's not really naked. It's I don't detail part, it's just to get the edge, the muscle of the character, the leg, everything. It's easier to add on the top the collar and all the detail. So I have always a step like that when I do this, so I can see where I sewing things. Thank you, Jen, for confirming that it's also easier for you too. For me too, drawing the body, even just a rough sketch, because I'm removing it as quickly as I do usually, but it really helps me to not spend a lot of time to make some clothes that looks good also. So I'm removing here with the eraser a bit. The excess of line. So on this shot, I think Pepper is also losing a bit her hat, just because of the wind. And at this point she doesn't care anymore to keep it with her hand. So I have to also, just for my reference, design guideline for the wind. I have to redo this nose just a bit. Yes, maybe more like that, but this is starting to detail. I need to figure how Carrot is in the air like that. She has Carrot in her hand, so I will just erase this part. Yeah, I will see if it's good to, maybe the next live streaming I will do them in 720p and then upload the video. So I will keep just the 1080p on my computer and upload it later for high quality later. I have to find some strategy like that. So for Carrot is the simpler character ever, because it's just a flattened sphere like that. But he has to look in the same direction with the same angle. So I'm not copying what I did on the storyboard. I'm trying to adapt to new. I'm mirroring a bit. Start to see some issue here and there, but nothing too big. So I'm using my mirror. Sorry, I don't show my face what I do when I do that. No. Okay. Yes. I need a little bit more room here on the eye. Yes, I guess it depends all the connection and everything happening right now onto the YouTube server. But that was a test. I'm not sure I will keep it. Maybe the previous streaming were just fine, and had enough quality and everything. Yes, on my side I have Fiber 2 also, so usually it should work. But maybe I'm not using the accurate settings to make some compression, video compression and everything. It's a bit complex. It's not like checking a box and say I want to stream on YouTube and yes, just check the HD and everything. No, it's more complex than that, and I had to tweak a lot of little settings, like the audio bitrate, the video bitrate, and etc. etc. So here for carrot. There is a large distance between his mouth, like that, and I don't like it. Yep. Yes, I'm streaming from France, from the south, Montauban. A little city in the south of France. And probably not the best city to have high quality, high speed internet, but usually I have good upload and download. So just time to save the document, because today I have some problem with the autosave of Krita. And I would select just, so I press Ctrl-R on the keyboard just to move to the square selection tool here. And I press Ctrl-T, it enters into a deformation. And at this stage, I can already fix few things. So I'm going to my tool option. There are plugins on my toolbar here. And I go to the liquify mode. I keep this setting. I'm sure they are pretty near the default. And then I just push the line here and there. Just push this here a bit like that. That's something I really like to do, because otherwise I get really, really bad drawings. Checking in the mirror, adjusting here the ear. That's okay, so I press enter. I press my shortcut to deselect, and I switch to another selection tool to make this head a little bit larger. So I press Ctrl-T again, and by default when you press Ctrl-T again, it switches back to the default transform mode. So this is cool, because this is what I wanted. And I have to scale the head a bit, because the head of carrot is quite similar to the proportion of the head of pepper, just a little bit smaller between the distance of the eyes and the mouth, but it's not small like that either. So it has almost this size, like that, and I press enter. Okay. I have to find a part for the body now. I see that on the storyboard I put the tail of carrot here. So I'm using a very large brush for all of this because this is not the final drawing. This is just a sort of layout. David, do you use this just... I'm reading a question. Do you just use the storyboard as a guide? Yes and no. So I usually like the framing and the composition of my storyboard, like that. But in the storyboard I do big head, a lot of things that doesn't make sense, and the expressions are not good, the volume are very flat. So I just retrace the storyboard, trying to find another angle, adding the biggest thing. So yes and no. Yes, because I keep the same composition and I like to keep the same silhouette. So I keep the same white space here and here. They are pretty similar and the same composition. But I like to redraw everything. So I'll put that here, and probably the hand of Pepper here. So it's more obvious she is holding carrot. Like that. I will just look back. Yep, it works. Maybe I will zoom in a bit later to make it a bit more extreme, but so when I have this sketch cleaned like that, I can start to do the real thing, the real drawing. And before doing the real drawing, I often do some cleaning, because I have a lot of line here and there. For example, the storyboard old mouth of carrot here, that is not necessary anymore. And I don't turn off just the storyboard like that, because sometimes I also like some line of the storyboard, so I'm erasing directly on the storyboard, because sometimes I keep some part of the storyboard, like this gray for the hair. It's a bit convenient. So I'm doing some cleaning with a big eraser. And I'll keep doing that on the sketch layer. I will reduce the opacity, because there is some line that I want to make them more in background. Like that maybe. So I don't like the distance between the two eyes of Pepper. she had the eyes more near to each other, so I have a quick fix to do. It's taking one and just putting it a little bit apart, like that. I will check with the mirror, and yes, it looks a little bit better. But I changed the eye's direction, now it looks like she looks into this side, so yep. Go back, looking at the scene. Yes, that works better. So when I do the detail now, in the past I was using to create a new layer like that and call it drawing on the top, and just put this one into blue and restart from the scratch. But recently I'm more into modifying the stuff directly. So I'm just using this one, and I will pick the same pencil but something a little bit thinner, and I will just detail on the top here. But first I do a save, and I will just launch my render farm. It's a script with all the episodes of Pepper and Carrot to render the page I have now, and to do a backup also. So I just want to keep a step. Yep. So yes, about the recent change into my workflow, that's something I explained a bit on Patreon, but not here. So I will show you. I did some tests, and in the past I was mostly using this technique of getting something sketchy, redoing the line, coloring back the line, and then putting some shadow and hoping that everything fit together. And now I'm back to something more like that. So dirty coloring and sketching everything, then shading on the top, and then painting over everything. It's just because I prefer the rendering. When I put them side to side, I think I obtain more life, more contrast, and better volume, and more control on everything with the paint over version. Even if it's another process that is a bit more dirty, but I'm also winning a lot of time on it. Oh, so I see a message from Jen about saturation, and I can give you a quick tip if you often have problem with saturation. I will just open a document. I'm looking on my disk, a comic, other artwork. And let's take this old illustration here. And if you have a problem with saturation and you don't know how to cancel saturation on area, you can always, I will duplicate just the layer, take it's on all Krita brush, and you have on the FX one that look like this one, the adjust color. So you pick this brush and you just pick white or gray or black. just keep on this edge of the color a grayscale, and if you paint, it will turn everything to gray. So that's not what we want, but if you just pick the opacity just a bit low, like that, you can reduce, just on a part, the saturation on something. So this is a good tip if you have tendencies to get part very saturated, because sometimes using a brush like that, you can get some saturation burst here, like the picture look burnt and everything, and then you just need some time to reduce the opacity, take the color brush and just reduce a bit the saturation, because yes, saturation can damage eyes. Too much saturation. So this is just to answer this. I will close that. Nope. So now I will just detail this drawing. So I zoomed at 50%. So before I had this view to see the overall of my page, and now I can zoom to get more comfort. I will return to my own selection of brush to pick the one I'm using the most. I pick some black. I have my two shortcuts here, and I will just detail, starting with the eyes, something not original at all, because everyone starts with the eye, and for a good reason. Because they are probably the most important part of the drawing. So I have the base of the eyelid, this little part that close. So even with some cartoony character, I try to figure where the eyeball is. It's deformed because it's cartoony, but I also want all the volume on my comic to make sort of sense, because it's easier to shade later. Like that. For the nose, I can probably have the nostril like that, and I have a little shadow because of the shortcut of the volume here. So you see I'm playing with the eraser key. There is a good option in Krita here. It's eraser switch opacity, and you can select it. And when you select it, if you have, like I have, a pencil like that, and when you press E to erase, and it's not a good eraser, you can switch opacity to 100%. And then when you switch E for this pencil, it will switch back the opacity to 100% every time. It's not replacing a proper eraser ergonomy, but it helps. It helps. That's a very good feature. But as soon as you select something else and you press E, it doesn't set up again. So that's why I prefer to use a 10 brush and switch from the eraser with a shortcut and from the brush with another shortcut. So I will read a bit the chat because I'm catching a sentence here and there. I see a lot of comments about the resolution. So I will not dive into this. I will probably read them later. Yeah, yeah, it's 15 minutes talking about connection. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Denver. Thank you. Yes, doing a few test sketch on a Cintiq Pro. Yes, because drawing on a Cintiq is drawing on a smooth surface, so it's really hard to get some control, and everything smooth. It's like doing some ice skating, I think, but it just needs a little bit of practice. But yeah, I'm just mad every time that Wacom marketing say drawing on the Cintiq, it's like drawing on a paper. I hate this type of sentence. It's not the same thing at all. It's there is a big distance. There is a lot of advantages of using a Cintiq, and I really like mine, but we can't compare it to using paper yet. But they are very good device, and I see with the release material that every time they make a new one, and every time it's better and better. So maybe they will get there at one point, getting the feeling of the paper. I'm very curious about it. So getting the hair of Pepper in the wind is always a bit complex, because I can also damage the, and without wanting it, but damage the silhouette of her head. And she has a silhouette that is a bit like a inverted pear, like that, with her haircut and everything. And this is really important. If I start to make some things here, she doesn't really look the same. I think I had this type of problem into the episode 17. I will show you just previous. Oh, into this one, when she fall, and there is a big sequence where she had crazy hair like that, and I had to maintain the shape with crazy hair, because I made some tests with only crazy hair, and she wasn't looking like herself anymore. So I had to maintain and just to put one or two. It's very cartoony, it's not realistic, but that's the best way to make it work. The best way I found, because maybe there is a hidden way. I don't know. Yeah, same here. Too much hair, and getting the hair in contact with the eyebrow. It's not really part of her character design, so I have to erase this. Maybe I will maintain the haircut a bit more, like that. And only put the hair from the back of her head flying on the wind. And for me, this is the complex part about doing comics. is it's not like doing freestyle drawing. You have a lot of constraint every time about the shot, the expression, everything flying around, every other detail, light source and everything. But it's really fun. So this is an attempt, and I'll have to look at my glass if the tongue keeps a high position like that. And no, it isn't. The tongue is really on the roof here. Not on the roof, on the opposite. It's here. And this part is really shady, like that. And I see that in my mirror that the teeth start to be visible here, but not the bottom teeth. Yep. So maybe like that. I can use this brush also to deform because my pencil is not, it's a bit blurry right now. Oops. Forget to. There is one question in French from Jérémy Essig. I tried to translate on the fly. Little question about French. Is there a way to have an autograph on Paris during a convention, for example, Japan Expo or something else? I have nothing planned right now in Paris. I keep refusing a lot of comic convention in France and in many places because, yeah, it took me a lot of time this year to organize the one in India and the one in Switzerland. So I just cancelled the one in Châteauroux, but for another reason, because there was no train. It helps. No train to go to the event. And Paris. I don't know. Is there some big free and open source event in Paris? That's the question, I think. For sure, I will be in Toulouse for the Capitole du Libre. I'm always at Capitole du Libre in Toulouse, so. But for the other place, I don't know. Hey William, I see you've wrote, I tried to get Krita working for my needs, but I can't. Yes, maybe it's really difficult sometimes to adapt habits and to have a feature set and everything. So I totally understand. Thank you for trying. So I will keep detailing all this panel. If you have questions, that's a good moment. So I have a question from Jen. When you draw faces and characters, do you always follow the anatomy rules or do you just draw so it looks okay? Because I like to draw monsters and stuff like that. I follow some anatomy rule. For example, when I do a quick face like that, you see that I always do my line to support the eye. I always respect the fact that the eye are 1/3 here of 1/3 here, because when the eyes are really near to each other or very large like that, it just looks very weird. So 1/3 works always for me. And for the nose, I just use the volume, but I also try to keep like this a triangle here. That works well, in my opinion. For the eyebrow, my eyebrow on my character are really flexible, so I'm often can use them in very weird situations, so I don't keep a lot of volume for the eyebrow themselves. The mouse, yeah, my mouse volume, yeah, here. And for the ear, I try to align them between the eyebrow here and between the base of the nose here. So except this, and of course respecting the volume, so having something more flat here like that and something here. Sometimes the eyes, I like to do these glasses like that to just see the volume I have here. Except this, for the face, I'm not using so many other anatomy guideline. Maybe for the old witches. For the old witches, I'm using more something like this for the nose, very cartoony and very caricatural. But then I start to crease here to get some mouth a bit more in volume. This is for the little one theme, and also have big eyebrow arcade here. So boof, it looks ugly, but that's just to illustrate what I'm talking about. Oh, too bad, Jeremy Essig. When you were in Switzerland, yeah. There is some other question. Hi, when will you come again to Poland? I'm visiting every year in spring, during Easter, because it's became too difficult to go to see my family into Christmas, because in Christmas there is a lot of strike with the plane and a lot of weather condition where there is too much snow and everything, so I had a lot of plane cancelled, and now I visit my family in Poland only in Easter. So the next time I will go to Poland will probably be into 1 year. For me, Krita became my favorite for coloring, black and white color, watercolor, and quick animation. Ah, that's good. Good. Europe. Is Pepper and Carrot still being updated? Because I see you working on the character all the time, but I don't see any new comics. Yes, because just a little story of Pepper and Carrot is about between 30 and 40 drawings, and it just takes time. So yes, you see me always working on it, and I'm always working on it. Sometimes I'm doing pause during 1 month to work on Krita, and sometimes I'm doing pause during 1 month to work on the next movie of the Blender Foundation, Spring, it's named. But yeah, I'm doing freelancer because I still don't earn enough on the Patreon size to make only Pepper and Carrot, and also I really like to work on something else. So I try to manage, but this year I'm very slow with the release of Pepper and Carrot episodes, so I'm doing my best now to get the next episode released. Oh, so anybody else using kinetic scrolling in Krita? I just found out that it's really useful for scrolling the brush. Kinetic scrolling, I'm not familiar with the term. If it's using some touch device, I don't have it, so I can't experience it. So another question, would you agree that creating art requires patience? I find myself wanting my idea to come alive instantly, but I'm working on building up volume with layers. Yes, it requires more than patience. It requires to be able to sit down and spend the full day doing some sort of meditation with a stylus, in my opinion. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Legele Cabral, from the nice word. Yeah, my secret for traveling in Easter in Poland. And thank you, Craig, and good to see you here. Same for Nartans. So yep, I'm continuing because yes, all of this takes time, and we just crossed the first hour. Of course, I'm chatting at the same time, so usually I'm just a bit quicker on that, but you can imagine the time it takes, and there is no shortcut to it. Hey Hannah. Yes, sure. Next year. Let's do that next year. So how long do I need to write, drive, and color a full sketch? This is really changing a lot. Recently, I'm trying to do my best to find a technique that is quicker, and a big rule is if I keep drawing just like mad, just without pause, just without image, just without everything, I can complete a page in about 15 to 20 hours. So yeah, it takes time. I think that my quickest page was 13 hours or something, and I put a timer or something, so I'm very slow. So let's do the air. But I do that quickly because I will draw and paint over anyway. So what interests me is just to have the yes, it's a gesture in general. So I have yes, here something interesting, because I hope you don't strain your hands while sketching for so long, David. I normally take breaks every few minutes. It happens more than once on drawing Pepper and Carrot that I had some problem with my hand. I really had. And I already get to finish episode and get my hand with blood on it, because the skin on the hand was removed with the stylus. So yes, I try to do anything to avoid that, and this is happening when I start to draw non-stop during days. And when I say non-stop, it includes night and everything. And if I was quick on the first episode of Pepper and Carrot, so all the 7 or 8, or maybe the first 10 episodes went almost monthly, because I couldn't just sleep. I was doing like 3 days or 4 days in a row non-sleeping. And nowadays I try to learn to make episode of Pepper and Carrot and have a life. And this is the biggest challenge I'm experiencing now, because yes, as you know, I'm married. I have a life with friends, with everything, and it's complicated. You can't do sleepless night and everything when you have a life like that. But when I created Pepper and Carrot, I didn't get this life, so I could make all this excess, and that's why everything was quicker in a way. So it's really hard to forget about this habit, because everything looks really slow when you don't do that, but it's also something impossible to manage on the long term. Or maybe I can do a zoom on my finger, so you will better understand what this slot with the time I have here. So you can see maybe better. I have this on my finger now. That's years of drawing. And on my thumb, it's yeah, something like that. It's like a blister or something. I don't know how to describe that, the word in English, but it's just very hard skin that just fold around the stylus. And as you can see, I'm using here the thin stylus of Wacom. It's the thin model, because larger model tends to get me bigger problem. So, is your wife an artist too? She plays saxophone. She is a saxophonist, but not a professional one. She works in the medical. It's called a callus. Do I pronounce it well? Callus. Callus. Yeah. Callus. Okay. Thank you, Craig. Callus. Okay. Yes, I'm married. Yep. It was in 2016. In October. Yes, when I was married, I posted a quick comic, and it's on the social network. I wanted just all the community to celebrate, to all my friends and all the people I had a hard time, difficult to reach. So that's why I made that. So do you have children, or do I'm planning to have? So this is a difficult question, because it can... I'm comfortable with answering, but I don't think I have the vocabulary to express my idea about it clearly. I don't have children, and I don't plan to have one, because having children, probably I see that vocabulary problem. You need a lot of time to take care of children, in a nutshell, and I probably don't have this time. So I know that I will be just a not good father, because if I want to spend time on my heart, I will probably not be always here for my children. So I decided that it was something optional into my life. There is nothing that forces someone to have children in a lifetime, and I decided that I will keep this optional. So I have also something that tells in my head that if I really feel the genetic, not the genetic, but the desire to have kids at one time, yes, sure, I will do. But right now I have none the desire from the body, nor I have the feeling that I will be a good father, because it needs so much work, and I see a lot of people doing this very well. So because the Earth has no problem about population number, I don't feel that I have something to contribute on this side of the contribution. So it's a bit weird to answer this. I know that it sounds sometimes totally weird for a lot of person, but that's my point of view. And sorry for my very low English to speak about that. I have much more richer vocabulary when I speak in French. Can we use Krita in Android tablet? No, because Android is a system and Krita is not developed for Android. It would need probably the Krita developer to recode from scratch Krita, and I don't think they can right now. Sorry for the personal question. No, don't be sorry. It's okay. I'm okay answering all type of question. If there is question too personal, I would say it, that this is personal and not okay. But this is a question that I'm also curious about many artists, if they have children, if they choose to have it. So yep, totally agree with Craig. Thank you, Putra. Oh, William, yes, I'm sure I can be a good father if I take all my time to be a good father. That I have a very good feeling with children in general, a very good one. I like to draw, I like to have fun with them and everything. There is no problem about it, but I just know that it takes a lot of time, and because I'm perfectionist, I like to do the things I do well. I will probably, if I have a kid, stop everything, like my contribution online, like Pepper and Carrot, like all my work, and start to make something different, which means spending a lot of time for my kid. I'm sure I will be like that because I'm working at home, and so I will be the one that takes time and everything. So, yep. I know I would be good, but I would be bad if I try to maintain all the things that I care right now. This is a bit complex. Thank you, Ches. Hey, Jen. Good to know you have cats. Smart decision. Too many people have children because they can, not because they should. Yes, and that's something I observed when I was a kid too, with many parents around, not taking care about their children. And I found this just a waste. Just not having the resource or everything. So it's better to make it very well or not making at all, in my opinion. So what is your favorite brush for creating some concept, David? So my favorite brush of all time is this one. I used it last time. It's a brush that does just this line on the edge here. And when you paint a lot of things, sorry for my voice, I will take a bit of water. So when you paint a lot of things like that, it tends to make a painterly feeling, and it keeps some movement to it. So I will show you that illustration that I rendered with this. You see, it makes this type of edges everywhere, this type of texture here. So a lot of on Paper and Carrot is rendered with this brush. On the Krita 0.40, it's Bristol 2 flat rough, and I like to do variations just of opacity with it, to do some glazing. And sometimes adjust a bit the flow also. You get more like this Bristol for more material. But I do a lot with this brush. Oops, so now I have this to delete. Up. Boom. So in which city of Poland do you have a family? In Radom and in Warsaw. So when I visit, I often go to Warsaw first. I keep in the capital, and then I move to Radom. So when the drawing is done, like that, I still have usually a lot of little problem, but I'm not rendering to get a perfect drawing. The goal of this pass is only to have something that I can reduce. I can show you on the page 1 what I did. So, because I can't show you all the other page, because probably a spoiler, but the sketch, if I isolate, I just turn them into some color, and then I put them to low opacity and color sketch behind. So this is to get this technique, so where all the lines are really in background and blurry, and then I have a lot of freedom to paint over and repaint all the line that I want, the definitive, the width and everything. So that's why I like to keep things dirty. And that's why I'm not really pushing this artwork more. But something I like to do is to put some main line, some outline. So just for the silhouette, just for the picture to be easier to read, I put here, here, and here, just a tiny outline, and it will just be easier to see what is the background for when I will paint. And usually when I do that, I see plenty of little things to fix. That, maybe here, because it makes all the volume really easier to read. I like that. That. So I still have a problem with this haircut, because this mass here looks like the head of Pepper has something like this at the back. So this is not looking natural, but I'll try to fix that. I have to remove maybe the view angle a bit low, make this type of hair impossible to see here. Yes, this looks better already. So maybe I will remove a bit the mass here. Yeah. I also don't really like the expression of carrot. It's a bit like missing something from life. I probably come from the eye. Oh, I see a lot of things happening in the chat. Me. Sorry. How is born the idea of this comic? It was born just after a sketch. I still have it. And it's simple to find this sketch. I made this speed painting, and you can still find it online. And I just liked the two characters after making this speed painting, and I decided to duplicate it, and I started to make them move. And it formed a comic. And when I posted it, I had some great feedback, so I decided to continue. And just one step with one other step, and right now I'm doing the 25 episodes. So yes, it's that's how came Pepper and Carrot. And it's really fun because before that I had always very big plan of making big comics, and with a big scenario, writing like hundreds of pages and with character and everything, and none of them really existed. But Pepper and Carrot with one panel after one another just now exists. So this is really fun to see the process, and to see probably I was overthinking all my previous project. So there is a discussion with Android. I see. Yep. Yes, I don't have a drawing program on my smartphone, so I don't really know what is best to draw on Android. I don't really like how Carrot uses paw on this shot. I'm tempted to erase. Yep. Maybe hiding a part of his mouth works better for this. So and of course now I have to detail a hand, so maybe I will also restart this one from scratch. But that's normal. Yes, better. I'll put it into mirror. I have a weird also volume with the head of carrot right now, so I will try to fix it. With liquify up. Like that, probably. Yes, better volume. If I don't fix the volume right now, I will have very big problem when I will color and paint. For all the shadow, here now I see that I can shade this like this for the shadow. That's just an example, but because the volume works better. Same for the eye. I try to refine them. Some gray part here. Up, removing, up. Maybe like that. So I just blink a bit the storyboard to see if there is some part of the storyboard I can keep cleaning. Some part of the sketch. It's better to clean them now than to have to paint them over. And the hat also has a problem with the shape. So I will save and re-enter into liquify. Like that, and the tail probably a little bit also. Yep. So now I'm comparing a bit from the two sides. I think I will probably do something with the jaw of Pepper also. Just a tiny bit here. No, not the lips. And for the wind, I will keep this line. They will help me when I will color, but that's something I have to do with brighter colors, so that's something I will erase it totally, I think. But it's good to keep, while I'm on it, this indication. So I think this shot will work with a light coming from the top, because the characters are not on this shot, but they are small like that with the house. So because a lot of magic is happening here, I think it will work great with this and a very black background and a lot of little particles flying here and there. So maybe something we will see next week, but I'm not sure. I still have a lot of drawing like that to do. You can see all of this is still on to do, and I still have the 3 last pages to do. So it's still a lot of work, and I hope to complete this on Thursday and Friday. If I had only this to do, it would be easy, but I also try to manage a lot of emails and everything, so it's always a bit difficult. So I will read the question. I see there is one in red here. What does your biggest dream about your artist job? So I'm not sure to understand very well the question, but I understand what was your biggest dream to be an artist. I'm not sure my dream was to sit on a chair and getting a stylus and drawing like that during days. That wasn't the dream, but the dream was probably to spend time into the universe I create, just be comfortable with the inner universe. So this is the biggest reward I think I can say of being an artist. Just create a universe and be inside it and dream in it. I think that's all. After doing the production, like managing the choice of file, the Krita, the stylus, tablet, and everything, this is just the way to do the story, to do the fun stuff. But yes, I think the dream at the origin is just to enjoy building worlds and building stories and building characters. Maybe hair like that, but I really like this negative space here. But maybe I will. Yeah, maybe like that. can you live with this activity because there was some problem in France in the domain of illustration and comics? Yes, I know that there is a lot of problem in France, and that's why I decided to not use the publisher for Pepper and Carrot. I had the solution to send my comics also to publishers and to ask them to pay me page by page and have royalty and everything, but I wasn't really liking this. I wasn't really liking this industry because it has a lot of problems, and that's why I wanted to change it. And that's why I'm doing Pepper and Carrot this way, mainly. After other author of webcomic like Maliki and everything does freeware, so they show you the comic for free, but they keep all the copyright on it, so they can sell you the comic afterward and do more money with it. But I really like what they did in the first time of the webcomic on the internet, and I have a big respect for this author, even if during some time in France I had some issue with some author in France, but that's another problem. Did you came from art school? More or less, yes. I started art school, but before the I would say not till 20 years old or 19 years old, and then I just made my own way. So I don't have any diploma of art, but I sort of followed the first school with a bit of hours of art. Where is your kitty assistant? He just left the room. Nuti just left the room, so I can't show you it. He's not here today. Oh, and this is about making pupils higher seems to have helped. Yes, yes. I think maybe I will do the same for Pepper after, because it makes maybe the situation a bit more epic, but I will see at coloring. So thank you very much everyone for following this live stream. It's been 1 hour and 45 now. I think it's the right moment to stop it, and I will just detail the other part of this page now, non-recorded. I hope the 1080p was a good choice to make this live stream. Sorry if I feel a bit sleepy, because it's hard to speak and to draw at the same time, and to draw the comic itself. It's really hard because I try to maintain the quality at the same time speak in English. It's a bit difficult, but yes, next week hopefully I will do some coloring, and I will color some panel of the comics, and yes, I'm trying to do my best to end this new webcomics for the end of April, but I see there is still too much works. So I think it will be for the first week of May, and I have no deadline, but it's more realistic to see the episode 25 on start of May. So thank you again. Thank you for all the questions. I was very surprised by all the questions, and even the personal one. And I hope you spend a very good end of week. If you want to continue discussion, feel free to join our chat. It's you just go to the Pepper and Carrot webpage. There is a community tab, and in the community tab you have everything to join the Matrix, IRC, Telegram, and everything. There is all the link to continue the discussion after the stream. So thank you again, and see you next week. Bye bye.